I am fascinated by what's going on regarding the Potomac crash. Not so much the Philly crash. That's sad, but that one doesn't interest me as much. And what I find fascinating is that we're looking at the issue, but from the wrong point of view. So many have said, well, I saw this video of this guy, this pilot, and he points, yeah, I know they ran into each other. I know that. But and it's not so much why. They finally released the name of the third or the female, either pilot or crew member. Okay. That's not it. What were they doing? What were they doing? Continuity of government. Ladies and gentlemen, stop for a second. Bailey joins us. She became a Lionel member. Thank you so much for being a part of this thing of ours. We appreciate this. To be a member of the conspiratorium. But the question I have is, what were they doing? Let's talk about doomsday scenarios. Yes or no? How many of you great people know about COG, continuity of government? You better know this. This is one of those things in your toolkit. You got to know about continuity of government. What does that mean? Doomsday stuff. What are they talking about? Doomsday. That's what the Reagan airport is about. It's not really an airport. It's like a special airport that allows people to, or various folks, to be spirited away, as it were, to be moved out, via and the like. Have you heard about that story? That's what that's about. That's what we're talking about. That's one of the things which I want to discuss with you, because I was just doing some informal as to that, and lo and behold, some people were saying, I never heard of that. Well, if you're going to be a member of the conspiratorium, this is one of those things you have to know. It's like DARPA and, InQtel and all this jazz. This is what you have to know to be really a part of this thing of ours, for you to be focused accordingly. Anyway, my friends, so let us sit back. Make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation. Very, very critical as we begin the first day of the year. Isn't this great? The first day of the month of the year. What did I say, the year? What the hell am I talking about? In any event, my friend, let's sit back. Let's think about stuff. Continuity of government, disasters. What would be, how does this work? How does this work? Well, let me tell you how this thing works. And let me tell you what you should be thinking about when that time comes. My friend, disaster doesn't knock. It kicks the door down when you least expect it. And when it hits the fan, and trust me, it will, food is the first thing to disappear. Now, the question is this. Will you be prepared, or will you be scrambling like everybody else? Okay? Now, think about what I'm saying. This is no exaggeration. I'm here to help. I'm here to give you the honest truth. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to help you. No one's going to be there. The shelves at your local store are going to be emptied within hours. And trucks that should be delivering food will be stuck miles away. You'll be left standing in endless lines, hoping for scraps. But there's something you can do right now. There's a way to stop this nightmare before it stops. Head to preparewithlionel.com. You heard me, preparewithlionel.com. And take advantage of the special monthly offer from My Patriot Supply. Now, you can get $50 off the legendary 4-week emergency food kit when you order today. Listen, I can't be any more serious than this. Why My Patriot Supply? Simple. It's a household name for a reason. Millions of families trust them because their kits aren't just about survival. They're about thriving when others are barely holding on. This kit provides over 2,000 calories a day and 12 essential vitamins and minerals. That's the fuel that you're going to need when your body and mind are under incredible pressure. You get meals that taste great, are American made, and last up to 25 years in storage. These aren't bland bunker meals. They're designed to keep you strong and focused when it matters most. But here's the deal, my friend, and listen carefully. Emergencies don't wait, and neither should you. Prepare today or pay tomorrow. Go to preparewithlionel.com now and claim your $50 discount and 6 free bonuses right now before this limited time offer vanishes. I can't emphasize this enough, okay? Because when the world goes dark, preparation is the only light you can count on. So correct. You know they're planning something, my friend. You absolutely know, and we know, that they're planning something again, my friend. I don't know what. But if you think those bastards are going to be happy just sitting back and letting this president succeed, you are so wrong. So let's talk about this, my friends. Regarding the recent crash I find fascinating involving the Black Hawk helicopter. That's what I think. Shrouded in mystery. Have you noticed that? Why? And most people are worried about, well, how did it hit? That's not the point. Well, was it at this altitude? That's not the point. Well, I don't think anybody did this deliberately. There's no evidence of it. None. There's no evidence somebody deliberately did this or, well, it was no. But the crash involving this Black Hawk, shrouded in mystery, swirling with controversy, has ignited in some particular areas, and among my friends, the cognoscenti of this organization, speculation about what was really going on behind the scenes. That's what I want to know. Not about the crash. The crash was, tragic. But what were they doing? Nobody's thinking about that. Reports have emerged suggesting that the unit responsible for the downed Black Hawk was part of a highly classified military division, listen, my friends, tasked with doomsday readiness. One of the reasons why, supposedly, they were there. And they were doing a training. What was the training? There's something that we should be aware about. And by the way, part of this is good. There was a reference to it when Pete Hegseth took to the Department of Defense. Boy, did you see him do a press conference? My God. It's one of the best ones ever. Now, this mission regarding doomsday readiness, look around, allegedly revolved around practicing secretive evacuation plans meant to be activated in the event of a natural catastrophe or war. This is COG, my friends. COG, continuity of government. You understand what I'm saying? See, this is the most interesting fact. This is fascinating because you see the cryptic nature of the crash, in addition to the limited details. We don't know anything. We still don't know anything. They're like giving a little bit. Well, here's a picture of the pilot, not the pilot. I don't know if she is the pilot, but it's a woman. Okay. We'll give you one more. We'll give you one more little bit, as though they're being such sports, letting us know what the hell is this about. It's fueled, my friends, discussions that range from routine, training mishaps and oops to something a little bit more clandestine, a little bit more consequential. Now let's talk about this. The concept of doomsday readiness, again, not just foreign, not just nuclear war, but could be natural, catastrophic, whatever. But the idea is that we've got to get all those people out and ready to go so that continuity of government lasts. So we can find those mountain areas, those underground mountain, where the government goes, because the government has to keep going on. And by the way, COG, or continuity of government's been going on for years, or at least the structure of it. And it's a long-standing feature of military preparedness theoretically. And then what it does is it involves a series of scenarios and, nuclear threats, massive, huge infrastructure collapse, tornadoes, weather, unforeseen natural disasters. The idea is as theoretically, but here's the thing. The units that are tasked with these missions, you see, they operate under a veil of secrecy with little information made public. You don't know anything about this. You know it a little bit. And it's mentioned, first time I heard it was our good friend Alex Jones who brought it to our attention. Now, if the Black Hawk unit was indeed engaging in this kind of exercise, questions remain. What specific evacuation protocols were they rehearsing? And why now? Was it routine? Was it anything? They're not going to tell you anything. You think Pete Heggs is going to say, yep, that's it, all right. Yep, we're planning for Doomsday, folks. We're planning on getting the hell out of there while you stay behind. You think he's going to say that? I don't think so. Now, some folks, you in particular, I know you. In fact, Bailey said, what the hell's going on here? By the way, Bailey gets some crumb cake, go right to the front. Some folks are wondering, kind of speculating that the crash could have occurred during a live drill simulating the rapid extraction, maybe, of high-ranking government officials or military leaders or, assets, vital to national security. That's what they were thinking about. Why was this helicopter there? This is not where they normally are. So it's a fascinating look at this. It's not looking at how it happened, but what were they doing in the first place? But official reports now really haven't given us a lot of answers. And the details are emerging, only little fragmented little orts, memes, little morphemes of information, carefully curated updates from Army, folks. And Hexit, look, he's got to do his job. I like old Pete. He's in there. Cash Patel's going to be in there. Tulsi's in. Everybody's going to get approved. Now, adding to this, are you ready so far? Adding to this unique little intrigue is the timing of the event. You see, just a day before the crash, air traffic controllers affiliated with nearby bases and operational zones, I guess, were reportedly offered buyouts or reassigned to non-military positions. It's just an odd coincidence, isn't it? And it's raised concern about whether someone, just saying, within the chain of command, had prior knowledge of a potential incident, or whether the buyouts maybe were part of a broader restructuring tied to the unit's operations. I don't know. Anybody bringing this up? Nope. People are still just talking about, this is 200 feet. It's like, we're not talking about, yes, that was the collision. Yes, but there was more than that. And while the Army in particular has not acknowledged, I don't think they are, any link between the buyouts and the crash, skeptics, that would be us, argue and will frankly wonder whether such coincidences are rarely random in classified military matters. You think, something's up. I don't know what. I'm not telling you. I'm pointing out the questions. You see how this works? Now, further kind of complicating this narrative business, this story, is the Army's deliberate decision to withhold the identity of either the female pilot or one of the crew members. I don't know why. I don't know what that was about. I don't know why. Why do you think that was? Why? Was she appointed under Biden? I don't know. We need to ask this question. And do you know who determines what questions we should ask? We determine what questions we want to ask. We, not anybody else, we do. Because if we want to know, we want to know. Got any problem with that? I don't think so. Now remember, people are saying, there's an autonomous, We're not talking about the crash. It's what are they doing there? You're focusing on the crash. I'm not talking about the crash. It's interesting, but now, typically, whenever there's a military accident, they have details are kind of limited a little bit, especially when those involve casualties of high-level personnel. Do we know who is this the entire list on that? Remember there was some talk about, did you see either a casket or something that had a flag? I don't know if I'm just dreaming this. I don't know. What's going on here? Sometimes they are publicly disclosed with relative speed. This is what happened. Remember when Ron Brown was on that plane and it went down? Remember that story? But in this particular case, the refusal to reveal the pilot's name has led to, again, more speculation that her role within the unit was either sensitive, or there's something about her they don't want you to know, or maybe they just wanted to throw this out at you. Ladies and gentlemen, Bailey says, Lionel, you were the funniest guy out. Our Atwood and Lifeboat fam are grateful for you. Keep up the comedy. Thank you. I love my good friend Sean Atwood. I was listening today to a fellow. His name was a Porter. He's doing one of these mob shows. And the poor guy says, there's a fellow named Sean Atwood. And he goes, and he was selling ecstasy. He couldn't say ecstasy. And every time I'm driving, I'm listening to, every time he said ecstasy, I wanted to rope. Anyway. But he's a good man there, Bailey, and we welcome you. Everybody say hello to Bailey. She's from across the pond, so don't yell at her. Don't scare her. Don't scare her. Now, other folks. Some people are claiming that she may have been a key figure, I don't know, in the unit's operations, may be tasked with coordinating high-risk, high-security missions under direct orders from the Pentagon. See, nobody's thinking about it that way. They're just saying, she's just nothing. No, how do we know this? Other folks are suggesting that her involvement may have indicated implications beyond the crash itself, perhaps tied maybe to classified missions in regions of strategic influence. I don't know, Middle East or whatever. Again, I'm not looking at the usual, she was some DEI hire and didn't know any better. No, I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying why? That's a great cover, isn't it? They think she's a dummy. They think she's a dummy. They think she's a DEI person. Let them think that. Now remember, if you're going to say something, you got to have reason. I'm asking questions. Have I made any asseveration heretofore? No. Now, the Army's reluctance, again, to share information, of course, makes our suspicions of a cover-up even greater. Doesn't that make sense? And today, they finally say, okay, here she is. Well, why are they telling us now? Critics are arguing, and many people, when I say critics, I think you know who the critics are. We are. They're kind of saying that, if this were truly just a routine training accident, there would be no need for secrecy surrounding the pilot. You see, it's secrecy versus we don't want you to know for some particular embarrassing reason. No, it's secrecy. Think about that. It's fascinating. Do you think maybe they believe the crash could be linked to a larger operational failure? Such as breakdown in communications during a live exercise? Or mechanical sabotage aimed at thwarting the mission? You think you're going to hear about that? No. You got to ask questions, not think that, she must be some DEI. No, stop that. That's like a red herring. That's not it. Some people have even floated the idea and the theories that maybe cyber attacks on the Black Hawk's navigational system, that's where the notion of autonomous flying comes in. Think about that one. Now, there's certainly no confirmed evidence supporting such, but do you think that, let's say, the enemy, whoever the hell they are, got a hold of this and said, we know how to override the system. We're going to hack into it. We're going to take this Black Hawk and move it up and fly right into that. Do you think that's impossible? No, it's not impossible. How would we ever find this out? I don't know. Do you think Pete Hegseth would say this? No. Not because he's a bad guy, not because he's duplicitous, but some people might say, no, this could actually hurt us. It could hurt things. And the media, well, whatever they are, we're the media. Our collective access to the crash site has been tightly controlled. Reporters have been kept at a distance. Get away. Limited photographic evidence. Get away. And what little information has been provided and given to you indicates for some people that maybe the crash occurred in indicated that the crash occurred in this kind of like this remote, kind of wooded area, making recovery and investigation efforts difficult. But military personnel immediately secured the perimeter. Immediately. And they supposedly, I was reading, confiscated footage taken by onlookers. You know how that is. Discouraging any, quote, unauthorized documentation. Kind of sounds like Roswell in a weird way, doesn't it? Remember in Roswell how they did that? They grabbed everybody's stuff and they told them that if you ever even reveal anything about this, I'm not suggesting that this is UFOs or something, but it's fascinating. You know, this level of control is not unusual in incidents involving sensitive equipment or classified missions. But it has done little, at least as far as I'm concerned, to dispel my curiosity and yours as well. What's going on? Let me say this again for the umpteenth time, my friends. We're not going to know these things. Don't you understand? We don't want you to know these things. If it was something, if it was extraterrestrial, I'm not saying it is, but if it was, they would never let you know. And in the absence of clear answers, legitimate answers, people like you and me are going to speculate and wonder about what the hell is going on here. We're going to be wondering this. And it's interesting. It's fascinating, the evacuation. And again, in the absence of answers, speculation as to the evacuation nature takes on a life of its own. It just starts, you know how that is. And some folks are saying that, some folks are even believing in the fact that maybe this exercise was related to nuclear contingency planning, continuity of government stuff, given recent, the usual tensions around the world, ongoing concerns about potential deaths. Remember Annie Jacobson a while back talking about nuclear, as they say, how easy a nuclear. You know that our government maintains certain protocols designed to ensure the, say it, continuity of government. Continuity of government. COG, baby. In the event of some catastrophic event. And the plans, you've heard of this, right? Has everybody heard this? Continuity of government. Everybody? Everybody? Has everybody heard of this? I'm finding sometimes I look over and I see the stuff writing, I think, I don't know what they're saying. But it's fascinating. Continuity of government plans range from the relocation of key federal personnel to underground bunkers in mountains and the like, to the deployment of mobile command centers where they can go out, and which is good. You got to have that. And it's possible, some may opine, possible that the Black Hawk, or Hack, as I say, the Black Hawk, this particular plane of this unit was maybe rehearsing or practicing for one of the scenarios when something might catastrophically go wrong, or if they had news that maybe something might be. I do not live in fear. I do not live in fear. But I do know that when certain things change, I become more, dare I say, vigilant. I become more aware of what's happening. I become more aware of things. I don't normally worry about lung cancer, but I would if I smoked. You see? I worry about things sometimes, or would worry, if the situations arose that would change the situation or would make me be very, very skeptical. Many people have pointed to the fact and the growing threat of large scale cyber attacks. EMP. I mentioned before, prepare with Lionel. EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, similar to a Carrington class attack, would be something that would be so catastrophic, people would go ape shit, lose their minds. I should say really batshit, to be quite honest with you. Lose their minds. Huh? It's beyond anything anybody could possibly imagine. And all it would do, it would fry our electric grid, fry our internet of things, IoT. Nobody hurt. Somebody just everything. No lights, no street lights, no ATMs, no internet. No internet? Do you know what happens if your phone all of a sudden went dead? What do people say when they get arrested? What's the first thing they do? Where's my phone? Get my phone. People go crazy with that. Cyber attacks, EMPs, where would it come from? Some people said years ago they were thinking that maybe anybody could do it. You know those little beautiful, those weather balloons, those Chinese, they would be perfect platforms to just unleash, just zap some kind of a low orbital, or even above that, some nuclear device, low, not radiation yield, but something that just fries our infrastructure, our grid, with an electromagnetic pulse, just in a world that is increasingly reliant on everything that is digital or Wi-Fi, all this unique digital infrastructure. A cyber attack on critical systems could cripple all communication networks, all transportation and power grids, making rapid evacuations essential. Because remember, when that would happen, the shite would hit the fan. It would be what? It would be a calamity. That might get people's attention, because as long as people have their phones and their laptop, they're fine. The idea that the Black Hawk and the crash might have been part of a response drill makes it even more interesting and adds another layer of kind of complexity to the situation. Or if the crash reveals vulnerabilities in the military's evacuation protocols, you don't think you don't think the enemy, whoever that is, you don't think they're watching this? They're saying, wow, this is in the nation's capital? These people, this is like Hooterville. It's phenomenal. And then you got these independent aviation experts, and I know you like these folks. And they've raised a bunch of questions about the helicopters, the helos, mechanical integrity, whether it's up to snuff. The Black Hawk is known for its durability, its versatility. It's like the workhorse of the military, and is generally considered reliable. Everything's great. The Black Hawk down. However, like any machine, any complicated or complex machine with a lot of moving parts, it is not immune, my friends, to failure, particularly during maneuvers or sometimes. And remember, people are watching that. They don't really want to tell everybody. Remember, one of the reasons why they might say, look, we don't want to go on TV and tell you everything that went wrong, because we don't want the enemy to find out, whoever the enemy is. And there are people, you see experts who are speculating that the helicopter may have experienced some kind of a malfunction during low altitude operation, maybe related to its tail rotor or hydraulic system. Oh, lower? Interesting. And if that's the case, this crash might result in a broader kind of a review of, is this Black Hawk, is this maintenance okay, the procedures, the guidelines, or whatever. I mean, there's so many layers. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? It's not just, hey, they crashed and It's at that level. No, there's other things. That's just a part of it. Now, the Army, God bless the Army, they promised, updates and told you, we'll let you know about the investigation. You're not going to hear anything about the investigation. They're going to say, well, we're still investigating this. We'll let you know. Because they said after 3 days, by Monday, it'll be all forgotten. But many, many folks, like me and you, remain skeptical. And here's that word we love to talk about, transparency. Do we have any transparency here? The first statements, the first comments from officials were vague. Usual. They were saying things like ongoing investigation, classified mission parameters. These are classified. It just deflects. It's like, well, why we'll get more with you. And their whole idea is to obfuscate. Even Hegseth got up there. He tried to do his best. And even with the military, within the military community, there's this concern that this accident is going to be swept under the rug, forgotten. And by the way, forgotten not just by the government, but by us. They think we're going to forget about it. Kind of sanitize and put away a little bits released to the public. And as a result, independent watchdog groups are calling for congressional oversight. And the Democrats all of a sudden are going to be saying, we've got to get to the bottom of this, when they didn't give a damn about what was happening regarding this when Biden was in charge. So this crash, this Potomac midair, to me, it's indicated a lot of other issues. A lot of other issues about secrecy, trust, oversight, and who's in charge. It's not just a collision. And at a time, as you know, when misinformation and, as they say, conspiracy theories. And the conspiracy, guess what? Did I tell you this? The conspiracy theories aren't going to come from us. They're going to come from the Democrats. It's not from us. They're going to be, watch how they turn into this. Watch how they will all of a sudden will make, Alex Jones look like a piker in terms of perhaps anticipating a lot of things was even more frightening. And for some, the incident serves as a tremendous reminder of how important there is this balance between keeping, classified information and letting the public know what's going on. I mean, if you withhold critical, look, the government's not going to tell you anything. The government's not going to tell you anything. The government never wants to tell you anything. We're still trying to figure things out about JFK. We still don't know. They don't tell us anything. So remember, it's okay to be asking questions about, well, what a flight, but that's part of it. And they're going to do everything in their power to say, okay, Trump, let's see how good you are. Let's see how ready to handle this you are. But first, my friends, let me take a little bit of a pause, of a breather, and remind you of this. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. I want to tell you about another story which I find absolutely incredible. And I hope you are finding it out as well. It deals with, and please don't say, I don't care about the Academy Awards. It doesn't matter. You know, we get these things where I get this thing from SAG. We're SAG-AFTRA. And here we go. And it says right here, it says you can have this Screen Actors Guild Awards. And they give you, you could either have the actual, what am I trying to say? The videos sent to you in CD form, or you can online. Anyway, so we went to look at them, and there's nothing I want to see. There's nothing that even remotely interests me. Karen Peterson says, no, Uncle Lenny. And we'll never know what exactly she was speaking of. We'll never know. As long as we live, we will know what happened in the Potomac before we understand what Karen Peterson said when she said, no, Uncle Lenny. And I don't know. And that's what's so fascinating, because you have taught me that clarity and limpidity and pellucidity have really nothing to do in audience participation. And I thank you for that. Andrew Hessing says, when I think on aliens and tech, I often think, why do people assume the developed tech like us? Firewheel, etc. We are a fourth generation star, so why should the universe evolve as we see it? Very good. I don't know. I always like this one. Why did they think like Greer, who always thinks that these folks are kind and they're wonderful? Let me read you this story. This is so good. Wait, here we go. Somebody says, in fact, as Johnny Mazza says, Trump authorized missile strikes into the caves of Somalia against the IS, deemed them a threat against the U.S. security. Reminds me of the U.S. against the Vietnamese in the rice paddies. Rice paddies, apostrophe S. Rice paddies what? Just kidding, my friend. Just kidding. The president he's doing the best he can. And that's okay. I love him. Don't get me wrong. But let me tell you about Carla Sofia Gascon. Carla Sofia Gascon. The first openly transgender actress, not the first actress transgender, but the first openly transgender, nominated for Best Actress for her role in Emilia Perez. Perez. They got to get the theta. She is facing, and I did something before, I hope you saw it on my YouTube channel. She's facing significant backlash due to resurfaced offensive tweets from 2020 and 2021. I don't think they're that offensive. These posts, they say, contain derogatory remarks about Muslims, George Floyd, and diversity at the Oscars. And I guarantee you, you will not find them at all problematic. The posts contain derogatory, I'm reading, in response, Gascon deactivated her social media accounts and issued an apology expressing deep regret for her past comments and acknowledging the pain they caused. Chicken shit. You don't believe that. What, you changed your mind? What she said about George Floyd was absolutely correct. What she said about Muslims and whatever it is, she says, why are there so many Muslims here? What's wrong with that? And if it's her opinion, so what? But they realized that the lefties thought, well, because she's a tranny or a transgender, she's got to be groovy with us. Not necessarily. She emphasized her commitment to learning from her mistakes. For the love of God. and standing against discrimination. Despite her apology, the controversy has cast a shadow over her Oscar nomination and the film's prospects, leading to debates about accountability and the impact of past actions. What nonsense. See what happens? They eat their own. See that? Gascon, you get that? You thought you were the darling, weren't you? You thought, well, I'm a tranny woman and I'm a transgender and everybody's going to love me. And I got to say, oh, yeah? No, they don't. Because they're heartless rat bastards. Now, in a separate trend, lawyers in Canada have reported a significant increase in inquiries from, quote, individuals seeking to renounce their U.S. citizenship and apply for Canada citizenship. Have you seen this? The surge is attributed to political and financial motivations, with many citing dissatisfaction with the current U.S. Okay, fine. You know what? Get out. Get out and leave. Get out and leave. This goes to show you that these people, these miserable lefties, they eat their own. They turn on each other. They're miserable. Do you hear what I am saying? This is why I despise these people, ladies and gentlemen. I despise these people. So anyway, I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. I think it's groovy. I think it's wonderful. I want to see them turn on themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Because I despise them. I despise all of them with a passion. Karen Peterson says, if the grid gets taken out, no, Uncle Lenny. Again, I don't know what that means. If the grid gets taken out, no, Uncle. Oh, yes. Oh, I see. No, Uncle Lenny. Yes. There's no me. There's no us. So the grid's taken out. Be very careful, dear friends. Do not necessarily give in to this. Do not think that, the end of... Don't read too much into this, okay? That's all. There's so much great stuff. Are you getting the newsletters? Did a great one today. Somebody say, I'm still not getting them. I have no idea why. Make sure you sign up for that. Make sure you sign up for Mrs. L for Lynn's Warriors. Make sure you sign up for her YouTube channel at Lynn's Warriors. Also, Lionel Legal, which is you got to get that one as well. That's our sister channel. And of course, this one. All right, dear friends. It is a nice balmy 29 degrees here in New York City. And I want to tell you right now, thank you, all of yous, for being here. Andrew Hessing, by the way, says, OMG, Greer, someone who has given more discredit to the UFO topic than anyone. He's a scam. Who needs disclosure because it's there already? I think he's full of it. But see, there are people that when I tell you, did you see the interview with Tucker and Piers Morgan? One of the most stupid, base interviews ever. Tucker's understanding, his pussyfooting, his kind of wishy-washy, squishy lack of taking over. Really speaking, Piers Morgan said, do you think Vladimir Putin's a dictator? No. What's a dictator? What does that mean? People in Russia didn't think so. They voted for him. But Tucker doesn't have any balls. Tucker didn't have any balls. And his stuff on Israel was like, what are you talking about? Piers Morgan has more balls than he. Piers Morgan has been around longer. He actually said it was kind of stupid, but it was a waste of time. Did you speak about the Rahaman Shai? Or did I miss it? Rahaman Shai. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Rahaman Shai. This is U.S. advisor who fled to U.K. To a child is jailed. No, I did not. I did not read that. Did not talk about that because that is a real no-no here on this particular platform. And what is it that you think we should say about that? Other than it's despicable, it's horrible, and it's disgusting. I mean, what are you supposed to say about that? Basil said, Piers is great in our country. Lost respect after he made apologies for Jagex. What is that? Well, you know, he did his thing. I like when he stood up for, remember when he walked off of that one, what was it? He stood up for look, he's been around for a long time. His shows are stupid when he gets junk yogurt and gets, Candace Owens, and they yell at each other and say, that's, no, sorry. I mean, that's what, if people want to talk about something, first of all, I can understand bullshit. And what he does is he's professional wrestling. You probably don't know this. I think I've told you this before. When I got out of law school, right when I was waiting to get the bar exam, you take it in July and you got to wait till like November and you just sit around and, okay, what do we do? But I had the opportunity to work with the great Gordon Soley and got immersed in the world of wrestling. Later on, I worked with Gordon and people like Bobby Heenan and I learned about the world of professional wrestling and it's bringing heat and being the heel, being the baby face. And what you need to do is, there's nobody who wants to hear about nuance. Nobody wants to hear. I heard today one of the most it was a great lecture or discussion with Katie Halper and an Orthodox rabbi discussing how the difference between Zionism and Judaic Orthodoxy was fantastic. It would have been the biggest flop in this country because nobody knows what the hell that even means. You have no clue whatsoever. It was one of the best things I've ever heard. Andrew said, I've been in the shop all week, but how does Mrs. L like how we are winning on the children? Tremendously. She's got her plans to go to D.C. This past week, she's made such incredible friends with the great people at the DEA. Our friend, Mr. Tarantino, correct? They're the best. When we were kids, when you said DEA, you thought, oh, a bunch of narcs. You know that kind of thing? These are the front line. They're the best people ever. What President Trump has done heretofore is just so wonderful. But I want you to listen to me. I want you to be smart. I like nuance. I like that slim little sliver about asking questions people don't want to ask. Okay? That's all. And we'll do that some of the time later, but whatever it is. But anyway, but Piers Morgan, I told you, my taste is different. I can tell when somebody's doing their best. And like I told you, I know people get upset, and she's very entertaining, but that Candace Owens things about Macron's wife. What is, come on. Seriously. You know who else does that? Very low-hanging fruit? Megyn Kelly. Kind of like, no kidding. As far as I'm concerned, microwaving kittens is wrong. Thank you, Megyn. Well, thank you. Nothing. You never scratch your head and say, wow, I never thought about that. Never. It's just obvious. But listen, it's very successful. Remember, McDonald's is far more successful than a Michelin a three-star Michelin, restaurant. That's the way that works. So just because somebody's, popular, but listen, do you have time for that? That's fine. But Tucker was so ambivalent. Tucker wants to say, I want to be smart. I want to be smart. But I also want to be this elitist, stuck-up, waspy guy with the pink pants and the dockside topsiders. And my son Buckley, and Buckley's going to be working at Buckley, and here's Muffy, but then again, I want to be like you, and I want to be this ribald, riposte spewing, but I don't, and I'm not really sure. And he's so wishy-washy about Israel. Say it. I mean, he's okay. He's great about some things which are really terrific. Well, I don't know, as far as I'm concerned, forcing somebody to take medicine, they're going, thank you very much. That's not the stuff I want. I want to know some really tough stuff. I want him to really, 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 really ask the questions. Brad Rung says, did you know that Married with Children characters were named after two wrestlers? Pauly Shore, 57. Political comedian Fred Barnes, 82. Garrett Morris, 88. Garrett Morris, one of the most unfunny, untalented. He was known as the obligatory black guy on SNL who was so... remember Chico Escuela? Baseball been very, very good. No news for the hard of hearing. Today's news. Awful. Listen, I'm going to say some stuff. You're not going to want to. One of the most overrated actors of all time, comedic nothing, was John Belushi. I don't know where they got this from. Dan Aykroyd was a genius. Just by virtue of what he said, it was so smart. Phil Hartman in that particular genre, great. But John Belushi, no. And I'm also going to say something too. The most overrated. He was okay, but this god was Norm Macdonald. They made it sound like this guy not only revolutionized humor, invented it. He was the greatest stand-up comedian. He took chances. Don't take chances. Do you want to go to a restaurant where the chef takes chances? No. But everybody had to say that. There was a time years ago, man, I know this, where everybody said, I love The Clash. The Clash. Everybody had to love The Clash. Same thing with Ayn Rand. Oh, Ayn Rand. Oh, my God. Objectivism. Oh, objectivism. Stop it. Stop it. Ask yourself the question, what do you think? Don't let a bunch of hipsters tell you this. The most unfunny people in the world are comedians. That's why on February the 22nd at the Cutting Room, February 22nd, it's like nobody, believe me, Norm Macdonald, try this. I know he's dead right now, and that's tragic. I did like the fact that he kept his sickness quiet. That I like, because that's unheard of today. But this is different. To go out and say, let's go out. Let me do it like I'm doing with you. These people can't do this. I mean, you want to engage. You don't want to sit back and hear me say these funny whatever. No, you want to talk and to. It's going to revolutionize everything. I've said enough. All right, my friends, have a great and glorious night. Let me also thank our wonderful benefactors today. Brad Rung, Andrew Hessing, Spandex, Karen Peterson, Johnny Mazda Spaz, Bailey, Bill Bailey. By the way, Bill Bailey, the British musician, comedian, is bona fide, out of this world genius. The music and the comedy is like nothing you will ever see. He floors me. Absolutely. Incredible. You're British. You brought us some of the greatest stuff ever. Even my days of watching the old Father Ted and forget Fawlty Towers. God bless the British. God bless your ability to see things in a very demented way, which I love it. Crypto Daniel, thank you. All right, my friends, have a great and a glorious night. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. Remember, if you're a father, tell your son in particular you love him. That's all I want to say. Okay, have a great day. Talk to you later. Don't forget these final words. Monkey said, the show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.